They ruled empires, commanded armies, and shaped the course of history, yet behind the crowns and thrones, some kings lived in secret worlds of identity that history barely dares to whisper. From Roman emperors draped in silk to European monarchs defying the gender norms of their age, these rulers wore dresses, embraced femininity, and hid lives that challenge everything we think we know about power and identity. Today, we uncover their hidden truths, stories of obsession, courage, and the human desire to be oneself, no matter the cost. If you enjoy these forgotten histories, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. Elagabalus became Roman emperor at just 14, inheriting a throne teetering between tradition and scandal. From the outset, he defied norms, wearing women's clothing, adorning himself with makeup, and seeking partners who would fulfill his desire to be treated as a woman. Citizens and senators whispered, unsure whether to fear, mock, or admire the young emperor. His reign shocked Rome not just with politics but with the bold assertion of personal identity. Ancient sources, including Cassius Dio, recount Elagabalus dressing as a bride in ceremonial processions, demanding to be called Empress rather than Emperor. He offered physicians substantial rewards to perform procedures that might align his body with his identity, though Roman medicine made such transformations nearly impossible. These acts were more than eccentricity. They were a statement of self in a society that demanded conformity. Despite public scrutiny, Elagabalus persisted. Courtiers gossiped, senators feared unrest, and the populace was captivated and horrified. His life demonstrates the tension between authority and authenticity, showing how identity can challenge even the most rigid structures of power. Power could not erase identity, even in Rome. Charles VI, known as Charles the Mad, ruled France during turbulent years marked by civil strife and the shadow of the 100 Years' War. Amid episodes of paranoia and hallucinations, he displayed behaviors that today might be understood as gender-fluid expressions. Chroniclers noted occasions when he dressed in women's attire or requested treatment in ways associated with femininity, blending personal whim with his mental struggles. Although contemporaries consider these acts signs of madness, modern historians suggest they reflect a more nuanced expression of identity. In the midst of political chaos, Charles's private behaviors offer a glimpse into the complexities of personal selfhood, even for a king whose every public decision had weighty consequences. His life reminds us that historical judgments often misunderstand those who defy societal norms. These intimate moments reveal the tension between public duty and private desire. While Charles's reign was dominated by warfare and governance, his private acts quietly challenged the rigid boundaries of masculinity in medieval Europe. Madness or self-expression? James I of Scotland, though less openly documented than other monarchs, exhibited delicate personal behaviors contrasting with his role as a warrior king. Accounts suggest he enjoyed softer fabrics and courtly rituals traditionally reserved for women, especially in private settings. These subtle expressions provided him a safe space to explore identity away from the expectations of his court and subjects. Unlike more flamboyant rulers, James's explorations were restrained, hinting at a broader pattern of gendered expression among royalty. They demonstrate that even kings, bound by duty and honor, sought moments of personal freedom within restrictive environments. This underscores the tension between authentic selfhood and public obligation. Through James's story, we see that historical perceptions of gender were complex. Courtiers may have observed, but discretion was key, and history records only glimpses of these private lives. Even kings navigated the cage of expectation. Gustav III ruled Sweden in an era of cultural refinement and theatrical flourish. Letters and memoirs reveal that he occasionally wore feminine attire during private masquerades and courtly performances. These acts, blending art and personal expression, illustrate the interplay between identity, performance, and societal expectation in a highly stratified court. Unlike Elagabalus or Charles VI, Gustav's gender expressions intersected with his public persona, as he cultivated a court that celebrated sophistication, theater, and personal eccentricity. Yet even in Sweden's enlightened culture, boundaries were fragile. The line between private amusement and public scandal was thin. His actions reveal a careful balance between self-expression and political survival. Gustav's life reminds us that creativity and identity often intertwine. His explorations, though not threatening to his reign, left historical records that challenge modern assumptions about masculinity and power. Art, power, and identity intertwined. Nero, infamous for extravagance and cruelty, offers perhaps the starkest example of gender identity shaped by power and obsession. After the death of his wife Poppaea Sabina, he seized a young boy named Sporus, forced him into a living empress's role, dressed him in feminine garments, and conducted a public wedding. Nero's personal desires blurred the lines of grief, obsession, and spectacle. The psychological toll on Sporus was immense. Stripped of autonomy and identity, he became an instrument of Nero's caprice, demonstrating the dangers of unchecked authority. Roman citizens, while scandalized, could neither intervene nor protect him, underscoring how absolute power magnifies personal whims into historical legend. Nero's story encapsulates the intersection of cruelty, identity, and performance. It remains one of the most notorious examples of a ruler reshaping another's life to satisfy personal obsession. Absolute power, absolute cruelty. While history records extraordinary examples of gender nonconformity among royalty, today we see broader acknowledgement of transgender identity. According to the International LGBTQ+ Association 2023 report, over 25 million people worldwide identify as transgender, with legal recognition expanding in countries across North America, Europe, and parts of Asia. These historical kings lived under societal systems that offered no legal or social support for gender exploration. Today, organizations and legal frameworks attempt to safeguard rights, but discrimination and cultural resistance remain significant challenges. By comparing the past and present, we see that personal identity has always existed, but only now is it increasingly recognized and protected. Identity is timeless, but acceptance evolves. What can we learn from these stories of kings who lived like women? History reveals that gender identity is not a modern phenomenon. It has always existed, often hidden, often suppressed, yet persistently expressed. Societies punished, misunderstood, or sensationalized these figures, demonstrating the risks of a culture that rigidly enforces norms. Today, lessons emerge: tolerance, understanding, and protection of personal freedoms are essential. Even when power is absolute, human identity resists erasure. As historian Samuel K. Cohn observes, the past offers mirrors in which the present may recognize its failings and its progress. By reflecting on these lives, we understand that respect for identity, and the courage to live authentically, is both timeless and urgent. The courage to be oneself transcends centuries,